Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and this is Murder by Design with a new true crime tidbit. Alrighty. So, hey guys, I'm so sorry that we did not get on here yesterday for anything. We were just having some issues, and so we're here today to make up for the true crime tidbit I did not do yesterday. So thank you guys for stopping in and joining me today. So today I am talking about the case of a young woman who went missing in 2009 after being arrested. Why is it flicking? Hold on. Let me see if I can make it not flick. After being arrested by police in California. Goodness, I have a problem speaking today. I don't know what is going on, but I am having a problem with my mouth. Her body was found months later, and it only led to more questions that remain unanswered more than 10 years later, including questions about the way mental health conditions are handled in certain circumstances. Mitrice Richardson was a pretty 24-year-old with a bachelor's degree in psychology. According to the Los Angeles Times, on September 27, 2009, Mitrice was at Joffrey's restaurant in Malibu on the night of September 16th. She ordered a dinner of Kobe beef steak and an ocean breeze cocktail. At some point, the manager at the restaurant called the owner, Jeff Peterson, to inform him of a situation at the restaurant. Initially, the concern was that Mitrice was unable to pay her bill, which was $89.21. She called her great-grandma, who provided her credit card number to pay the bill, but the restaurant required a faxed signature to process the payment, and Mitrice's great-grandma didn't have access to a fax machine, so they couldn't take the payment. Restaurant staff would also claim that Mitrice had been acting strangely and saying some bizarre things to them. She allegedly told a valet at the restaurant that she was there to avenge Michael Jackson's death and even got into his personal car. She came alone, but joined a group of strangers at their table. The manager called the sheriff's department to have Richardson arrested for not paying $89.21, but they would also say they had become worried about her driving because of her erratic behavior. When deputies got to Joffrey's, they found a small amount of marijuana in Richardson's car, so they impounded the car with her belongings inside and arrested her for possession of marijuana and suspicion of defrauding an innkeeper. Now, this is back before marijuana was legal in California. According to Steve Whitmore, a spokesperson for the sheriff's department, while Mitrice was in custody, she didn't show any signs of mental problems and was acting normally. He said that while at the restaurant, she was given a field sobriety test that she passed. Mitrice Richardson was released on her own recognizance shortly after 1 a.m. She was told that she could stay the rest of the night in the lobby at the sheriff's department since she didn't have a ride, but she left on foot instead with only the clothing she was wearing. That morning at 6:30 a.m., Bill Smith, a former reporter for KTLA News, called the police and said that there was a woman in his backyard who said she was resting. His home was in the Malibu Canyon area, and when he got dressed and went outside, the woman was gone. The sheriff's department is almost 100% positive that the woman was Mitrice Richardson. After that, it seems Mitrice just vanished. There were some tips of possible sightings, but Mitrice wasn't found. Her family feared that she was murdered or being held by someone against her will, and they felt the police weren't doing enough and just didn't care. Her mom, understandably, had issues with the entire situation. According to Richardson's mom, Lettice Sutton, she told police that her daughter's described behavior was not normal. Mitrice suffered from bipolar disorder, and she asked the police not to release her daughter alone because something wasn't right, and Mitrice didn't really know the area. She says she was told that her daughters would her daughter would be released later in the morning so that she could pick her up. She felt that if her daughter had been acting erratically at the restaurant, enough so that she was given a sobriety test and passed, that something was very wrong and that her daughter shouldn't have been released alone late at night. Hey, Stella, I am going to get back to you on the email. I promise. We have just been insanely swamped. I should be able to get with you tomorrow and get you going and stuff. So Mitrice was confused, or I'm sorry, Mitrice's mother was confused by the whole situation. She didn't know why Mitrice was in Malibu that night or why she couldn't pay her bill. She had at least $2,000 in her bank account at the time. She also saw her daughter's disheveled mugshot photo and said there was no way Mitrice, a former beauty pageant contestant, would have went out with her hair looking like that. TalkMurderWithMe.com covered the case in depth and reported that after Mitrice had been missing for months, on January 10th, 2010, there was finally a real extensive search done to locate her. She wasn't found that day. There were videos that were lost and then found of Mitrice acting strangely in the police station, rocking back and forth and pulling her hair, but she was never given a medical evaluation, and the sheriff's department insists that she was lucid when she was released. In July 2010, ABC News reported that Richardson's parents were suing Los Angeles County and 9 sheriff deputies for wrongful death, claiming it was negligent for them to release Richardson alone with no ID, phone, or money while dealing with a mental health episode. The reason for the lawsuit, according to TalkMurderWithMe.com, was so that the family could get access to all the documents from the police department and also get depositions from the officers of what actually happened that night. Her parents were later awarded a judgment of $900,000. On August 9th, 2010, Mitrice Richardson's family received a phone call saying that the partly decomposed remains of their beautiful daughter had been found in the Santa Monica Mountains near Malibu Canyon. LA Magazine reported that she was naked and some of her clothing was found scattered throughout the canyon. Her skull was detached and her remains were partially mummified. This only leads to more issues as the family claims they were lied to about when the body would be removed from the scene, and that when the remains were moved, it was done haphazardly with several bones left behind. Although there seems to be a huge question of how Mitrice died at this point, the sheriff did a press conference after the remains were found and said, "We have no indication of a homicide at this point." I don't believe that remains are capable of telling a story. In 2011, Mitrice's body was exhumed for further testing, but LAist.com reported in 2012 that Sheriff Lee Baca said there was still no tangible evidence that we can find that relates to a blunt instrument or a bullet wound to the skull or any things that typically result in murder confirmation. So this is open. Richardson's family reached out to the California Attorney General's office to review the sheriff's office's handling of the case. In November 2015, they received a reply that they had not found any grounds for criminal charges against the sheriff or his deputies. The Los Angeles Daily News reported in January 2016 that the California Attorney General's office had reversed its decision and said they would be initiating a criminal investigation of the case. About a year later, they again determined that there wasn't enough evidence to support prosecuting anyone that was involved in handling the case. Mitrice Richardson's cause of death is still unknown, and her family and friends are convinced that she was murdered. What a sad little story. I mean, clearly this woman was having an issue, and I do think it's negligent on the part of the sheriff's department to release her like that, especially without giving her any type of mental evaluation while she was in their custody. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and make sure that you give us a thumbs up and share this video. And I will see you tomorrow for another true crime tidbit. And my 5 at 4s, there will be a double episode today with my 5 at 4s. So have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week, guys. I will see you tomorrow on Hump Day.